Today we're going to look at a very basic form of the blues and create a melody over the top using the blues scale. The 12-bar blues progression can be incredibly complicated, but today we are going to actually look at a really simplified version using just 3 chords. So if we start playing it on the piano, it sounds like this. And if we add some bass and drums, now the beauty of the blues scale, and here is the blues scale in front of us, the beauty is that all the notes of this scale work with every chord of the blues progression. We really don't need to understand the chords that are going on underneath. We can create a melody just by using notes of this scale. So in reality, we can just pick notes at random from the scale, put them into a melody over the chord progression, and it should work. A little bit like this. But unfortunately, if we just pick notes at random, it's not going to sound musical. I want you to do something more sophisticated. I want you to look at creating phrases. Phrases are short fragments of music that we can repeat and develop throughout the composition. So I'm going to create a phrase at the beginning here that's only 2 bars long. And if we want to make it sound really jazzy, let's put a rest at the beginning. We're not going to start right on the beginning of beat 1, and we'll end with a short note. Now, if any of you have written classical music before, very often we end our phrases in long notes. But in jazz, we do the complete opposite. We cut the note short. So I'm going to leave a rest at the beginning of the phrase and have a short note at the end. This should make it sound jazzy. And here is our first phrase. So moving forward, rather than come up with new music, I'm going to establish the phrase that we've already created by repeating it again. But I will make a slight change at the end, just to give it a little bit of variation. Can you see how we're developing this phrase by repeating it and just changing it slightly? I'm going to do it again. In bars 5 and 6, why not do the same thing? Can you see how the ending is slightly different to the first time? And while I'm on a roll, I'm going to do another one. So here it is, bars 7 and 8. Now at this stage, we probably need a little bit of variation or a little bit of difference, contrast in our writing. So I'm going to break from the first phrase that we had and come up with something slightly different, but always using the notes of the blues scale. Pop a tag on the end, and we've got our blues melody over the whole 12 bars. I've created a phrase and developed that phrase and used only notes of the blues scale. And if I add some articulations, well then we've got the completed picture. Here we are, the 12-bar blues with solo trumpet. So to recap, when you're writing for the blues, write using the notes of the blues scale. Point 2. Try and create a short 2-bar jazz phrase. This will give your music something that you can develop. And point 3, when you're creating a blues phrase, think about starting with a rest. Don't start on beat 1 and then finish with a short note. You'll find that it sounds much more jazzy.